Thank you. Okay, just said it. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're well and had an amazing weekend.
This meeting is being recorded.
So that's absolutely confirmed. It's being recorded, so that's fantastic. You will know that the Chamber Awards is one of our keynote events in the year, and it's a fantastic opportunity for all of our members to really highlight their businesses and get the most out of their membership. But the purpose of today is really to give you some insight from the presenters, who are Kim, Holly and Tony, who you will all know, who are presenting from a perspective of not only being award winners, but also judging the awards. So it gives you some really good insight into how best we all think you can make the best of this opportunity. So I've put together a few slides. So Leanne, if you don't mind going to the first slide for me, please.
Okay, just a second. I've put you on the
remote. Oh, I can.
That's fine. That's fine. I can change the slide.
Are you okay with that? Lovely. Thank you very much. So that's and the next slide, please. Yes, and that's what we're doing today. The next slide, please. Yeah. That's a little bit about who we are, and the next slide. So some of you still think that I'm employed by the Chamber. So this gives you a little opportunity into knowing a little bit more about our business, but I'm not going to dwell on that. You can read that afterwards, because what I really want to do is to go forward onto the next slide, which gives you a little bit of context as to why what we've achieved in our business and the awards that I've judged over a number of years. I've judged the Chamber Awards, Signature Awards, Education Awards and the BID Awards. So I have a wide range of experience in judging a selection of awards, all for business. So my top tips on the next slide really is, we've all got amazing businesses, and once the awards are launched, which they are now launched and you can nominate, don't sit back and wait somebody to nominate you. And a lot of people are nominated, but if you've got something to shout about, which I know we all have, be brave and submit a nomination for your own business, either for somebody who works for you, one of your colleagues, or your business, because you've done some really significant and amazing work this year. So shout about that. And I know from when I submitted my awards over the years, I've kind of had to scratch my head a little bit to think about what I've done over the year. So what I would recommend, and what we started to do, was to make a checklist of all of our achievements that we have throughout the year, so that we can just use those as a bit of a guide, bit of an aid memoir, and to go back and to be able to lift out the ones that are relevant for the award. And it saves a lot of time and effort just thinking, well, why do I think I'm deserving of this nomination? So start to do that, and I think you'll all be surprised as to all of the achievements, not only with work, but hiring and growth and everything that the business achieves. And once you've been nominated, start shouting about it, sharing that information. We're all a little bit humble, I think, about how we approach awards, from the nomination to the submission. But, we've really got to capitalise on the fact that we are part of that award process, because the value in the awards are hugely significant. So don't be shy about making everybody aware that you are on the journey and a potential winner. So starting from the nomination is a really good start point. So the next slide, Leanne, for your submission, and I've read, oh goodness, countless hundreds of awards that have been submitted for all of the award ceremonies that I've judged. And one of the frustrating things really is that people don't really read the question. So you've got to read the question and try and identify what the judges will be looking for and how you'll be marked. This year or last year, Sam and the officers of the chamber, we sat down and spent many hours working through the nominations for the awards, and also working through the criteria that we felt supported those nominations. So it's really important that you read what the criteria is, read the question, read what the judges are looking for, and as a follow-on, don't rely on the fact that you're a well-known business in Solihull. I've read submissions from large businesses where they've written a couple of lines on an answer, and I'm thinking, well, I can't fill in the gaps for you. You've got to provide the information so that the judges can work from the base of your submission rather than the knowledge of your business. So we might know an awful lot, the judges, who Sam will disclose at some point in the future. They may know something about your business, but they can only work on what you've told them, because it's a fairer process then, isn't it? Answer the question. I said that, but it's worth saying it again. And you know, many submissions that I've read have gone way beyond what the word count is, and we've had to cut off at the word, whatever that word count is, 500 words, 250 words. So if you're asked for 250 words, 50 words really isn't long enough, because you've got to put some context, and anything over 250, we've had to discount it. So, you know, you might do reams and reams, and it's not worth it. You need to be focused and targeted. Again, read the question. Sorry, it's a really big thing because so many people don't do it. And testimonials, if you can fit those into the word count, they're fantastic because it gives you independent support of your submission and your nomination. So on the next slide, capitalize on your success. It's a huge currency for generating new business once you win, but even the nomination is really great on your website and on all of your social media. And as I say, success brings so much more to a business. It's not only about boosting morale of the people that work there and supply, but it also attracts new talent into the business. If you're an award winner, everybody wants to be associated with an award winner. And even if you're a finalist, that's a huge credit as well. And then share the success with the team and celebrate. And keep on celebrating because you want to win more awards, and that will motivate people. So the next slide, I would just say wish you all the best of luck, and we look forward to your submissions and to seeing you and welcoming you at the event in September. So moving on to the rest of the agenda, we're going to start with the amazing Kim Holtz, and then follow on with Tony, and then we've got Holly from the recruitment duo. And we're happy for you to raise any questions as everybody's going through their submissions, or to put your questions in the chat box, or to wait until the end. So whatever, if you've got any burning questions, then it's worthwhile having those heard, because your questions will be probably the same as other people's, and some people might not want to ask them. So we've also got a list of the awards categories on the next slide, and you'll see that we've got 11 awards, sorry. So there's something in there for everybody. So I'm going to hand over to Kim, and Kim will take over the controls. So thank you very much, Kim Holtz.
Thank you, Eileen. I'm just seeing if I can control the screen that's been given over to me. I don't think it has yet.
I've just shared it. Give it a go.
Nope.
Just press the arrows at the bottom of the screen, the forward and back. We just press the forward button, and that should work. No.
No.
Okay. I might just have to change the slides for you. Sorry about that.
It's all right. So I will introduce myself. I'm Kim. I have run my own business for 10 years in marketing. I'm also the marketing manager for Visit Knoll. We've won awards for both businesses. Visit Knoll won marketing award for Solihull Chambers a couple of years ago. Are the slides coming, Ellen? And I've been shortlisted for a few awards, and I was a judge at Sutton Coldfield Awards a couple of years ago. So we could do the next slide, please. So just about me, worked for 20 years with high street businesses, really, retailers, hospitality businesses, beauty businesses. And while we're waiting for the slides to come through, I've kind of run through those awards, some local awards with the Chamber and national awards. So we'll go straight into the tips. And I'm wearing a small business hat, really, with these tips. And I've been talking to a few businesses over the last 2 weeks about awards. And sometimes people say, but Solihull has got so many amazing big businesses. What chance do we have? And I would say that small businesses in Solihull, we have got so many fantastic small businesses, and you shouldn't let the imposter syndrome stop you. In the last few years, Holly's going to talk from the recruitment duo. We've had All About the So, we've had Kiboo, we've had Visit Noel, Eric Lyons. We've had lots of small businesses enter, be shortlisted and win. So ignore that imposter syndrome of there's someone else who'll get it. You've just got to go for it, and don't wait for someone else to nominate you. As a small business, it's up to you to throw your hat in the ring, and you've got to do that and stand up with your own achievements. Don't keep comparing yourself to anyone else. The other thing you can do as a small business is tell your story. You're unique. There's no other business quite like you, and your achievements are down to you and your team. So telling your story eloquently in your unique way will make that award entry really stand out. And you might need to think a little bit more about your successes over the last year, last year. But have a look at that, make a list of those successes. And if we go on to the next slide, we'll probably say that you're going to be linking where your big wins and your best success stories are to the award category that best fits. So we looked at 11 categories. There is a 12th award for Business of the Year, but some businesses or some achievements fit better in one category versus another. So think about where you're going to hang your hat, where you most match the criteria, and when you apply for the award, each award category has just a sentence or two explaining what the judges are looking for. So have a look and see where the best match is. But also, if you're torn between two award categories, perhaps lean towards the one where you have the most evidence. So that could be testimonials, it could be statistics, it could be sales numbers. Whatever it is, have a look and see where you can supplement your award entry with that evidence. Next slide, please. And then it's back to school. Eileen's already touched on this, but as a award entry, you need to give yourself time. Some people work under pressure. Others need time to get someone to leave a testimonial, to collect those measures and the statistics. So give yourself time to collect that information. Make sure you get it in on time. As a judge, I've looked at the points allocated to each question, and then I've marked it accordingly. So you need to provide the information that answers that question to get you as many marks as you can. And as a small business, tell your unique story, make it unique rather than something that maybe a PR agency has pulled together on your behalf. If you can tell your story in your own words, or give your agency the words to tell your story, it'll stand out that little bit more. In our own world, we all use jargon. So as judges, we don't necessarily know what your business is or what industry you're in. So avoid the jargon and the shorthand. Use lots of paragraphs and white spaces so the information really shouts out. And check the rules about using infographics and images to help make the story shine through. And give a little bit of context of background so that we understand what your achievements are. Understanding a little bit about what your business does will help with that context, and what the judges can make of your entry. Okay, next slide, please. And then we all enter awards to give pride to our team, to get a little bit of exposure, and to be able to use it as a hook for marketing. So whether you're shortlisted or you win, then you really need to use every hook possible. You'll get footers that you can put into emails. You can use it on social media, saying you're delighted to be nominated, delighted to be shortlisted. You can create press releases. And then you can also talk about the fact, if you do come to the awards evening, you can talk about that and create social media posts about it. And you can comment on other businesses who've been shortlisted and those who've won by commenting on their posts. And again, just getting that maximum exposure from the process. Okay, and next slide. So really, tell your story. You know it. You've worked really hard over the last 12 months. So see where that success is. Tell your story in your words in the category that best fits to you. Have a look at the questions and anything in particular they're looking for you to answer, and match your copy to what they're looking for. Make it easy to mark. And then when you've done it, it makes you feel good. Even just submitting it makes you look back on the last 12 months. So we don't have time to do that very often. So take the opportunity to reflect on your achievements and talk to your team or your cheerleaders about it. And most of all, go for it. And that's me. I'll hand over to Tony.
Afternoon, everyone. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Going to whistle through some slides for you this afternoon. If we could just click on to the next one, please. Yeah. So my top tips on how to win awards. I've got 3 top tips. But firstly, I guess what qualifies me to share any top tips with you in the first place. So if we just have a look at the next slide, these are all awards that Touchwood have won in the last 2 or 3 years across Solihull Chamber, BID, National Awards, Greater Birmingham Chambers of Commerce Awards, and going back to talking about small businesses earlier. The reigning Greater Birmingham Chambers of Commerce award winner is a micro business. I think it's one person. So yeah, definitely don't be intimidated by the Touchwoods or the NECs or anyone else out there. You've all got a compelling story, and I think sometimes when it's so personal and relates to a small business, I think it can garner more understanding from those people judging the awards, and they can really see the achievement. Also, next slide, again, an experienced judge. And what you will see over these next few slides, like you have seen already, is there's going to be some crossover between each of our presentations. The good news in that is that it's because we've all won some awards, we've all judged awards, and so we're giving you good advice that we all follow ourselves. So there's always going to be some crossover. So let's have a look at the first tip then, which I think is the next slide. Oh, maybe the one after that. Okay, criteria and evidence. So as has been touched on already, really check the criteria closely. Ensure that each point is covered with evidence and in order. So a lot of what you're trying to do when you're putting this award application together is to try and make it as easy as possible for the judges to score you well. If I can put you in a judge's shoes for a moment, you are having to read pages and pages and pages of information. So if it's overly wordy, the sentence is too long, if it's too descriptional, judges can lose their way a bit with your application. They might have been better at it, reading it in the morning, than they would be in the afternoon. They might be getting paper blind. So, really try and keep it succinct. A tip that I've got where you, if there is clear criteria within the category, list the criteria and then demonstrate that you've responded to it or that question directly underneath. So I even type in question or the criteria and then put my response underneath. And then that leaves the judges in no doubt that you've ticked every single box. And then they might think, oh, crikey, did those other applications do that? Yeah, just make it easy for the judges. So that's tip 1, criteria and evidence. Tip 2, so clear, concise content. Now, this is something I'm sure Kim and Eileen, you will have seen as well, that quite often large parts of the application are a copy and paste from someone's website that describes their business. And you think, you know, and sometimes I've even gone and checked on their website, that is exactly what's on page 1 about us. You know, that don't copy and paste, got to be relevant to the question and the criteria. There may be an opportunity for you to include a summary, but it's probably going to be far less wordy than you might have on your website. So don't copy and paste from your website. Don't copy and paste either from one application to another. So if you're entering more than one category, it can really switch. I've seen a judging panel pick up an application from one particular organisation, say, what a great application, that's really good, really positive. Then when you go over to, they've entered another category, suddenly 80% of that application reads exactly the same as the last one. And it makes the second application lose some weight and some resonance because it's not independent. So just try and make, if you're entering more than one category, try and give each category its own detail. And maybe even someone else in your team does the other category, but try and make them a bit different. Talk about achievements, other awards that you've won. That shows the judges that you are already an award winner. Statistics, a data summary, and again, just make it easy for the judges. And tip 3. So take every opportunity to make sure you leave a memorable impression. So if video is permissible, then enter a video. If you are being interviewed, have bullet points about the criteria, what you're going to say. Don't post links to random YouTube pages. So this is something we say, you go, oh, right, okay, they've got some additional information here. So when you're making as much use of supporting information as you can, they might put, oh, here's some links to some interesting YouTube videos. If they're not directly related to answering the criteria, you're wasting the judge's time a little bit there. So it could be a YouTube link that absolutely nails the criteria and speaks directly to the judges, but otherwise I wouldn't include it. It is worth including testimonials, feedback, colour, images if you can. If there are votes involved, there aren't with the Solihull Chamber Awards, but there are in many others, then drive a campaign. Don't be shy or modest, because the person winning your category won't be shy. So don't you be. Next slide, please. So yeah, just in summary, check the criteria, provide evidence, and make it easy for the judges. Make sure that your application is clear, concise content. Bullet point if you're having trouble getting everything into your 250 words. Don't waffle, no pasting, and make it easy for the judges. Always include supporting information if you have the opportunity to do so. And finally, in case you didn't get the memo, make it hard for the judges to give it to anybody else but you. Thanks very much.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Holly from the recruitment duo. So I will be presenting the next round of slides. Leanne, you want to click through to the next one, please? Thank you. So myself and Louise set up the recruitment duo in October 2021, and it's been a very busy 2.5 years since we set up. We have historically worked together side by side for many years. Since we set up, we've helped nearly 200 people in the local area into new jobs and supported 40 businesses. We've also been very busy nominating ourselves forward for awards. So the first award that we actually put in for was the Solihull Chamber Outstanding Startup in 2022, and that submission was based on 9 months of our business being live. So to be shortlisted at that point, we were absolutely over the moon. And then following from then, we were then shortlisted for the Greater Birmingham Excellence in Customer Services, We were the winners of the Solihull Chamber last October of Excellence in Customer Services. And then this year we have been shortlisted for Outstanding Startup with West Midlands Business Desk 2024. We're also sort of faces and featured case studies in investing in women in code. Business Growth West Midlands just sort of shared our business story, and we were most recently panellists for International Women's Day event in London. Leanne, if you want to flick through to the next slide. I can say very much sort of firsthand, when we put in our first submission 9 months after sort of setting the business up, it was just very much not planned, just hoping for the best, putting as much information in as possible. Very much treated it like a school paper. There's 15 marks, right, to give 15 clear points. And then to be sort of shortlisted, we were like, right, next time we want to make sure you know, we nail it. And as Tony said, we want to make sure the judges don't want to give it to anyone else but us, ultimately. So Louise actually attended this sort of like webinar workshop last summer and listened to the words from Tony. So you're very much in safe hands in the fact that the advice that Louise heard last year, we took on board in terms of our application, which ultimately resulted in us winning Excellence in Customer Services. So just some tips from our point of view. Very much sort of keep it top of mind why you are looking to enter that category. And as sort of Tony said, you know, when you're looking at applications and it's been a copy and paste, if you keep it top of mind why you deserve to win, why you're entering that particular category, and make it bespoke to that particular entry. Again, as I sort of mentioned, we sort of very much treated it like an exam paper. It's 15 marks where we put 15 points in and make it really sort of clear and concise with supporting evidence, be that sort of financials, testimonials, you know, sort of imagery around sort of like graphs or anything you think is going to sort of support the application further. Again, as been mentioned this morning, avoid the storytelling and long paragraphs. Just keep it really sort of punchy and factual. Also get input from other colleagues. I mean, myself and Louise, there's not many other people in the business to be looking at the application, but you know, definitely sort of seek support. You know, some marketing team putting it together. See if, you know, finance got any input that they'd like to sort of share. Make it a sort of collaborative approach. As Eileen said, there's a real sort of feel-good factor for a business when you do win an award. So trying to get as many people involved is yeah, really supportive. Make it easy to read, stick to the word count. So again, if there's 250 words, just keep it under the 250 words. I mean, what I used to do is copy and paste the word text into Word, and then you literally just click on there, just click word count. So just even just something simple like that, you don't have to sit and manually count the words. Be authentic, show your personality. It's your business, you know, you are the one that's going to be sort of selling that story, why you deserve to win that. So make it, you know, authentic to you. Don't have AI write it, in my opinion. Make sure it's yourself and your personal voice that's coming through. Again, proofread before submitting. You want to make sure it's really sort of clear and concise. Again, make sure it's sort of sticking to the word count. And there's no sort of unnecessary sort of jargon and terminology that the judges won't understand. Familiarise yourself with the guidelines. So again, before that goes forward, ensure that you've sort of done the best that you can to know that you'll be successful in your application. With the Solihull Chamber Awards, you can enter more than one category, so there's a maximum of 2 to submit forward for. I know the deadlines which we are working towards. Ultimately, you know, late submissions will not be sort of counted. From our perspective, after winning the awards last October, it's been a real sort of whirlwind in terms of all the engagement that we've had post from sort of big new businesses, from candidates and clients. It's a real sort of buzz on sort of social media to be sort of sharing that you are an award-winning business. And everybody, I mean, I have mine on my little desk next to me, so everybody wants one of these awards. So I would really encourage anybody to sort of go ahead and apply. And make sure that you sort of enjoy the journey and follow it consistently through with your marketing. I'm wishing everybody all the best with their applications. I mean, the fact that you've attended this webinar or watching it about the post recording, you've already made the first step to making a successful application. So best of luck.
That's fantastic. Thank you all. So these are the key dates. So we're already on the awards entry deadline, which is the 5th of June. So you've got, I know, what's that, 6 weeks before you can get your applications in, your submissions in. So make the most of that time. They'll then go forward to the judges, and then there'll be the judging day at the end of June, with the shortlist announced on the 1st of July. So plenty of time to prepare for that winning evening from July the 1st through to September 13. So that's the end of the presentations. Does anybody have any questions for any of these amazing presenters, all of whom got loads of experience?
Hi, Arlene. There is a question, I think, in the chat. Let me just open it.
Fab. Thank you.
Okay, is it worth saying if we can include images? So, as Louisa's kindly mentioned earlier, let me just do that one so you know who's talking. That'd be great. Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining this afternoon. Yeah, as Louisa's mentioned, you were allowed to apply for 2 of the categories out of the 11. And this year, with the application, you'll notice if you entered the GBCC awards last year, this year with the Solihull Awards, the application, everything is all online now. So you'll notice you can go through and you can start applying now. And you can start completing that application form and save it and come back to it and go back to it later. And as all the judges and winners and everyone who's contributed to this afternoon's webinar have stated, it is about the proofreading. It is about going back over and make it with the word count, being clear and concise. So the way the process allows you to apply this year, as per it was with GBCC last year, you can go in and you can start the process today. Fantastic. Have a look at which of the 11 categories you want to apply for. Start filling out your personal or your business information and just have a look at the questions, put some notes in, save it and go back to it. So I think that's, knowing we've got 6 weeks between now and the closing date, I think that's something the new system, the new online system gives you that opportunity to do. So please have a look at that. So yes, it is maximum of 2 categories per business. Now, those that can enter, you need to be a Solihull Chamber member or a business based in the borough of the Metropolitan Borough of Solihull. So if you're outside, you can't enter. If you're a Birmingham member, you can't enter. But if you're a Solihull member or have a business, whether you're a non-member and you're based in the borough, you can enter the awards as well. So again, we want to encourage as many Solihull businesses to enter as much as possible. Last year, we saw a huge increase. So we had just over 80 applicants for the 11 awards last year. Previous year, I think we hit 60. And last year, we also saw just under 380 people attend the evening as well. So that's great. That's a fantastic opportunity to come along and celebrate with your peers and other shortlisted businesses in the room. Again, at the Hilton Metropole hosting us, so it's a fantastic venue. But it'd be a great evening, and hopefully, we'll have a few more bums on seats this year. So it is all about you as a Solihull business. It's all about you making the most of what fantastic work you do throughout the 12 months, putting it all down on paper and entering it into one of the Solihull Awards. I'm available afterwards. You know how to contact me, as are your relationship managers, if you've got any questions over whether it's something you should go for. When it comes to, and also the sort of the terms and conditions are all input and all on the online application form anyway, and it will cover adding on any additional whether it's PDFs or graphics and things like that. All that is sort of covered in the terms and conditions as well. I can't see any more questions in the chat unless anybody's sort of put their hand up.
No, I don't think so, Sam. And I think there's some great takeaways, aren't there? So for me, some of the takeaways are don't suffer from imposter syndrome. Fantastic. There are 2 categories that you can apply for the Solihull Award. Make each submission a relevant response to each category. So don't cut and paste, because we've all seen that, and it feels like you haven't really thought out what the category's asking for. Be memorable. I love that. Be memorable. Meet the deadlines. Goodness, we've had calls from businesses who have just missed the deadline asking if they can be included. I'm sure you have, Sam, and you have to just say no. So work to the deadlines. Tell your story. I love that one, because we've all got a story to tell about our business, and it is really about making giving the information, to making it hard for the judge to give it to anyone else. I really like that. Be authentic, really imperative, be authentic. You know your business better than anybody else. So once you start shouting about your being a finalist or a winner, then that authenticity comes through. Keep it like an exam paper. Holly, I love that, although most people don't like exams, but you're very dedicated and fastidious. So I think that, you know, a lot of people will approach it like that. And I think really, this hasn't come out today, but most of you will remember Susie won the Lifetime Achievement Award last time, or the President's Award as it was. And her comments was that everybody should win an award. So absolutely, everybody should win an award and know what it feels like. So very best of luck for everybody here on the call and those that are listening or watching the recording at some point at your leisure. So we look forward to seeing you on the evening.
Well, thank you, Eileen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tony, Kim, Holly, those that have joined us this afternoon. As we've said, reach out to any of us. Check out the socials. We're constantly talking about the awards on the socials. Tickets obviously are out for grabs and up for sale, as is sponsorship as well, if you're interested in sponsoring any of the category awards. But we look forward to receiving your applications, and we look forward to seeing everybody on, it sounds awful, but not unlucky for some, Friday the 13th of September at the Hilton Metropole.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.